So it looks like we're live. Yeah, so just gonna start this off. The CTS exam. Gonna read this off to you, and let's get started. Just want to give a quick shout out to everyone who's watching. I really appreciate it. All right. Anyways, CTS exam. Yes, the CTS exam. Let's look at the CTS. Andy Kidor wrote this. CTS Exam 3rd Edition, McGraw-Hill. I remember being in high school. Contents at a glance. Certified Technology Specialist, CTS Exam. What is a Certified Technology Specialist? The CTS Exam, Essentials of AV Technology. Okay, cool. Analog and digital signals, audio systems, video systems, networks, signal management systems, control systems, electrical systems, wireless radio systems, creating AV solutions, gather customer information, conducting a site survey, evaluating site environments, recommending changes to the site environment, developing an AV scope, designing AV solutions, implementing AV solutions, integrating AV solutions, operating AV solutions, managing an AV project, servicing AV solutions, maintaining AV operations, conducting maintenance activities, troubleshooting, and repairing AV solutions. And then it's just the appendixes. So, and then future trends in AV, Avixa standards, AV math, about the online content. Yeah. There's more. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this. So yeah, we're just gonna keep doing this, and it's gonna be amazing. Acknowledgements, Part 1: Certified Technology Specialist and the CTS Exam. Chapter 1: What is a Certified Technology Specialist? The CTS Exam. Or Chapter 2 is the CTS Exam. So Chapter 1 is what is a Certified Technology Specialist. In this chapter, you will learn about what it means to be a Certified Technology Specialist, why you might choose to become a CTS, the purpose of the CTS exam, eligibility criteria for taking the CTS exam, the CTS exam application process. Before you prepare for the CTS exam, you will have arrived at the conclusion that you actually want to be a CTS. Earning the CTS designation can help advance your career in the professional audiovisual communications industry, whether you're just starting in professional AV or you've been working on AV projects for years. This chapter starts by describing what your decision to study for the CTS exam can mean for your career. Then it covers the background and purpose of the exam, from eligibility criteria to the application process. It is important to understand that there are reasons why the CTS exam is designed the way it is, and each reason contributes to the strength of the CTS credential. What does a CTS do? A CTS creates, implements, and services AV systems to support advanced communications and exceptional multimedia experiences, whether for high-definition telepresence rooms or high live corporate events, conference rooms, or digital signage, networks, distance learning, presentation, or telemedicine applications, houses of worship, or school auditoriums. A CTS provides the best, most cutting-edge AV solutions to meet the client's needs, both on time and within budget. Avixa created and administers the CTS exam. Founded in 1939, Avixa is the leading nonprofit association serving the professional audiovisual industry worldwide. For more than 30 years, it has offered certification programs as well as industry-specific and general business training and education for people seeking careers in professional AV. Avixa developed the CTS program as part of a process for certifying industry professionals. Individuals who hold the CTS credential demonstrate a commitment to excellence in the AV industry as measured through an objective assessment of that person's AV knowledge and skills. Every year, Avixa certifies more qualified AV professionals than anyone in the industry. Earning a CTS also demonstrates a commitment to ongoing professional growth in the AV industry. After you have earned your CTS, you must maintain certified status through continual education and training. This is achieved by acquiring renewal units by taking classes online from Avixa classroom offerings or at various other in-person events and trade shows. There are currently 2 levels of CTS certification, general and specialized, and they include the following designations: Certified Technology Specialist, CTS, a general certification that covers common AV industry knowledge and skills required for people active in system design, installation, and operation. Certified Technology Specialist Design, CTSD, a specialized certification that demonstrates the holder's more in-depth knowledge of AV system design skills. Certified Technology Specialist Installation, a specialized certification that demonstrates the holder's more in-depth knowledge of AV system installation and integration skills. Avixa certifications are currently the only AV credentials to achieve accreditation to the International Organization of Standardization and the International Electrotechnical Commission IEC IEC standard, as administered in the United States by the American National Standards Institute and in India by the National Accreditation Board for Education and Training. It is a standard designed to assure the public and the CTS certification holders that the best practices of these credentials apply high level of confidence in the CTS certification program, blah, 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 blah. Why earn your CTS? Industry certifications are common across many of the trades that AV professionals encounter on the job. Like the CTS, the certifications demonstrate that holders have achieved a certain level of knowledge and expertise in their chosen fields. As AV professionals increasingly work more with architects, contractors, and others who hold industry certifications, their ability to present recognized CTS credentials to partners on the job can instill confidence and boost the value of their work. Furthermore, CTS certification can instill... Hold on. Okay. Furthermore, certification can instill confidence in clients, providing additional credibility that the work the CTS holder performs will meet an accepted level of professionalism and reliability. Increasingly, requests for proposals for AV projects include requirements that the winning bidder employ CTS certified professionals. Moreover, an increasing number of technology managers, individuals who might initiate an RFP for an AV project are themselves CTS holders, increasing the likelihood they would prefer to hire CTS certified consultants, integrators, and installers. Finally, Avixa studies suggest that CTS earners earn more than their peers. According to Avixa's 2017 Compensation and Benefits Survey, more than half of the professional AV firms hire salaries to CTS holders than non-CTS holders with similar backgrounds in the AV industry. The CTS designation is also highly recognized and valued among the AV industry, according to Avixa's most recent member value survey conducted in 2017 and reaching Avixa members and non-members throughout the AV industry. The CTS credential was rated as the most important service that Avixa offers. Respondents also indicated very high satisfaction with the CTS credential and how they reflect the professionalism of the AV industry. The purpose of the CTS exam. AV professionals who hold the CTS credential demonstrate their AV industry knowledge and skill through an objective assessment of the CTS exam. in following the standards set by international bodies and in support of a professional certification recognized for credibility and integrity. AVIXA's Independent Certification Committee oversees a CTS exam that tests individuals against peer-developed standards and competencies. The exam is designed independently of any course or curriculum, and it is developed and administered to be valid, reliable, defensible, and psychometrically sound. All exams are developed, reviewed, and maintained by a series of AV industry subject matter experts, guided by professional test development experts. Note: psychometrics is the study of psychological measurement, including the measurement of knowledge, abilities, attitudes, personality traits, and educational assessment analysis. In the context of the CTS exam, psychometric principles are applied to exam questions to ensure they correctly evaluate what they are intended to evaluate. The CTS assessment criteria are based on analysis of the job tasks performed by professionals in the AV industry, as determined by the AV industry SMEs guided by professional testing experts. They are not based on any training or education programs or any educational providers' programs. The specific knowledge areas addressed by the CTS exam, plus the scope of the knowledge and skills area, are described in Chapter 2. The majority of the CTS exam addresses technical skills. However, the Certification Committee and SMEs from various AV job functions determined that the general requirements for a CTS holder should also include a basic understanding of the fundamental concepts of project management, estimating, and purchasing. This is based on the assumption that during the course of their work, CTS holders may be called upon to oversee projects, assist in estimating expenses, provide input on purchasing decisions, and handle other non-technical tasks in support of their employer. The inclusion of this type of content and the assessment of non-technical skills through the CTS exam helps ensure that a CTS holder has not only the technical aptitude but also some basic business knowledge to help a project move successfully towards completion. Exposure to such non-technical skill areas also helps CTS holders determine whether they would like to pursue specialty designations or CTSI to advance their careers and benefit their employers and clients. Note: while the majority of the CTS exam deals with technical skills and knowledge, SMEs from within the AV industry determined that so-called soft skills are also important to a successful certified AV professional. Therefore, questions about project management and other subjects are strictly related to AV technology are also part of the CTS exam. Are you eligible for the CTS exam? More often than not, the answer to this question is yes. It is strongly recommended that you have the skills and/or experience indicated in AVIXA's. Oh, thanks, man. Hey, I appreciate it. I hope I can do this too. See Chapter 2 of an outline of the CTS exam content. CTS candidates are not required to complete any particular course in order to take the CTS exam or qualify for certification, although there are many ways you can prepare for the exam and determine whether you are ready to take it. However, no single course contains all the information needed to pass the exam. AVIXA itself offers a number of general courses that can help individuals prepare for each level of the CTS certification. The exam guide you are currently reading has been specifically developed to address the content of the general CTS exam. The AVIXA Certification Committee also offers a CTS candidate handbook and exam content outline with job task analysis information, a glossary, practice exams, and other materials. Blah, 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 blah. A job task analysis is a study conducted to identify the knowledge, skills, and abilities necessary for professional competence in a particular field. Such an analysis is often conducted to determine the content and competencies that should be included in a certification or exam. AVIXA's Independent Certification Committee conducts periodic JTAs to make sure the CTS exam and certification process aligns with the real-world skills required of certified AV professionals. The online materials can help you prepare for the CTS exam, but they are not intended to include all potentially useful sources of information. Inclusion on the AVIXA list of preparatory materials does not constitute an endorsement by the Certification Committee. The Certification Committee does not endorse any particular reference as being completely accurate and encompassing, and it recommends that the applications use multiple resources in the process of preparing for the exam. The CTS exam application process. To apply for the CTS exam, visit the AVIXA website, avixa.org.cts. There you can obtain the free CTS candidate handbook and the current CTS candidate application. CTS applications may be submitted in one of several ways. Completed online at the AVIXA website, printed and mailed, scanned and emailed, and faxed. Candidates must provide required documentation and payment as noted on the application. All signatures must be submitted by the applicant as provided in the CTS application. This includes agreeing to the CTS Code of Ethics and Conduct, which is printed in the CTS Candidate Handbook. After you send the required documentation, meet eligibility requirements, and have your payment approved, AVIXA will email you an eligibility acceptance letter within 10 business days of receiving the application. This message includes a unique candidate ID number and testing instructions. If an application is not accepted, you will receive an email letter of explanation. Applications that are incomplete or for which payments have been denied will delay approval. Note: be sure to include all required documentation with your application to avoid denial and/or delay. Once approved for eligibility, you will be notified by email within 1 business day of AVIXA submitting the approval information to the third-party exam company, Pearson VUE. After another 24 hours, you may contact Pearson VUE to make an appointment to take the CTS exam. Visit the Pearson VUE website, Pearson VUE at AVIXA, and click the Locate the Test Center to find an exam location near you. Any questions about the CTS exam should be directed to the following. Damn. Chapter Review. A CTS performs general technology solutions tasks in the process of creating, implementing, and servicing AV systems. The CTS certification demonstrates to individuals, employers, trade partners, and customers that the CTS holder meets an established peer-reviewed benchmark of expertise in AV-specific and basic business general topics. The CTS exam is the vehicle by which CTS holders assess their expertise through a method of documenting their knowledge within the AV industry. The CTS exam is based on analysis of the tasks that AV professionals perform, focusing on best practices within the AV industry. This chapter briefly described the background and purpose of the CTS exam and how to register to take it. Candidates should now have a better understanding of the purpose and objectives of the exam and whether obtaining a certification could help advance their career in the AV industry. Chapter 2, the CTS exam. In this chapter, you will learn about the scope of the CTS exam, how the CTS exam changes over time, how to study effectively for the exam, what types of exam questions to expect, question evaluation strategies for successful test taking, what to expect on exam day. As you will learn in Chapter 1, the AVIXA CTS exam is part of a professional certification process that is designed to evaluate a person's level of knowledge of general audiovisual job tasks. The exam covers a wide range of AV-related topics, and it is based on analysis of typical job tasks performed by people currently working in the AV industry. This chapter describes the content addressed within the CTS exam so that you can better prepare for taking the exam. It also covers how the exam is conducted, so you will learn what to expect when you arrive to take the exam. Keep in mind the AVIXA will always provide the most up-to-date information on the CTS exam online, so be sure to check out the AVIXA website for the latest information on exam procedures and requirements. The scope of the CTS exam. To create the CTS exam, a group of volunteer AV subject matter experts, guided by professional test development experts, participated in an AV job task analysis study. The results of the study form the basis of a valid, reliable, fair, and realistic assessment of the skills, knowledge, and abilities required for competent job performance by AV professionals. The original JTA study for creating the American National Standards Institute accredited CTS exam was conducted in December 2006. Follow-up studies, as required by the ANSI, were conducted in 2012 and most recently in 2017 to revalidate the exam and identify areas where it might be updated to reflect current AV jobs, skills, knowledge bases, and best practices. See the next session, the CTS exam over time. In creating the CTS exam based on the JTA, the volunteer SMEs identified major categories to be covered by the certification examination, as well as topics that should be addressed within each duty based on the task that a certified individual might perform. The exam development team examined the importance, criticality, and frequency of the typical AV-related job tasks and used the data to determine the number of CTS exam questions related to each. Oh God, hold on. Related to each duty and task. Table 2-1 lists the duties and tasks as well as how many questions there are for each. So duty A, creating AV solutions, is 47%. Task 1, gather customer information, is around 10% of the exam. Conduct initial site survey, that's 9 questions. Evaluate site environment, acoustics, lighting, seating, finishing, etc. That's 9%, so 9 questions. Develop an AV project scope, that's 9 questions. Design AV solutions, that's 10 questions. Duty B, implementing AV solutions, that's 27. That's 27 questions. And then integrate AV solutions, operate AV solutions, manage AV projects. Duty C, servicing AV solutions, maintain AV operations, conduct maintenance activities, troubleshoot and repair AV solutions. So, this job it's for the CTS exam, a certified technology specialist, because I do like installation for the rich people's houses, and like do their like home theaters and like all their Wi-Fi and all that stuff. So, but like if I like pass this exam, then I can like make like a lot more money and like yell at my boss and be like, hey, pay up, you know. Well, it's gonna take me a while to do this, but I gotta do it. The CTS exam over time. Like AV technology, the CTS exam evolves over time. In the case of the CTS Exam Evolution is a must. ANSI requires that AVIXA review the JTA that is the basis of the CTS exam every 5 years to determine whether it still accurately reflects the job of a certified AV professional. Through the process, SMEs introduce changes to the exam that make it better and ensure the CTS certified AV professionals can perform the tasks necessary to keep pace with changes in technology, best practices, industry standards, and more. The most recent revalidation of the CTS exam began in 2017, starting with 4 JTA focus groups with participants from around the globe. The focus groups... Oh, thank you. The focus groups were supplemented by a survey of current CTS holders around the world. In November of 2017, the results of that research were presented to the CTS Scheme Committee. The committee reports to the Certification Committee and reviews psychometric reports on CTS exam performance, decides scoring patterns based on test company experts, and works with the CTS Technological Committee where new items are required for the CTS exam. That same month, the Scheme Committee presented its recommendation recommendations to the certification committee, which voted to approve the recommended changes to the CTS exam. With the recommended changes in hand, the CTS technical committee is responsible for creating new exam questions if necessary. New questions are written by SMEs, evaluated by psychometricians, and tested for validity. Recommended changes also include reweighting certain domains or tasks. This is necessary when the JTA determines that particular domains or tasks have become more or less important job of a CTS. Also, as a result of the most recent JTA revalidation, it was determined that the duties of selling solutions or performing in-depth financing or job costing are not performed frequently by the majority of CTS holders. So those duties were removed, giving the scheme committee the opportunity to add questions in more important areas. As the CTS exam evolves, AVIXA strives to be transparent about changes as ANSI exam security requirements allow. You can find the results of the most recent JTA on the AVIXA website. Studying for the exam. There is no single way to prepare for the CTS exam, including studying for this book. Instead, there are a number of different ways to determine whether you are ready for the exam, starting with a free practice test composed of questions that are similar to the questions presented on the CTS exam. Information on how to access the online sample test questions with additional